Well, it's an exciting time of the year. Heading on the road to play, I'd like to say, it feels like the first conference opponent, even though we already are 2-0. But UNLV's playing their best basketball of the year right now. They've won their last two. They're a veteran team. 7 of their top 9 guys are juniors or seniors, so they have a lot of guys that have been there, including 4 guys that played major minutes for them last year. And they've added a couple of transfers that have been able to be grad transfers or get waivers right away. So they're long, they're athletic, they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. They get 40% of their missed shots, which is an exceptional number. So going to have to do a great job limiting them on the boards, and going to have to try to negate their athleticism the best that we can with our positioning, and then keep playing the way we've been playing on offense the last few games here. So it'll be a great test. It's the one place we didn't play a true road game at last year with the off-balance scheduling, but certainly we have experience playing in their arena because of the conference tournament, playing 3 games in 3 days. So our guys are excited for another opportunity, and excited for conference play to continue.
Al did mention about the history that you share with UNLV's head coach, coaching against each other in the Dakotas.
Yeah, there's some familiarity there. I mean, certainly he's got a different team and different style of guys than he had at South Dakota State, and we have a different team than we had there. But there's definitely familiarity after we've South Dakota playing against South Dakota State for a couple years, and we have an idea of what they like to do, and they certainly have an idea of what we like to do, although they're doing some different things and we're doing quite a few things differently. So, but there is that familiarity aspect, and you have an idea, and some of the terminology is the same, I'm sure, on both sides.
Kind of mentioned the athleticism. Is there anybody you can compare UNLV to that you've played already this year?
Yeah, I think they're a few different teams, whether it's North Texas or South Florida, or even Florida in some respects. So we played this kind of brand against this kind of brand of basketball. But you know what? I think almost from here on out in conference play, and there is obviously a wide array of styles of play in the Mountain West, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure there's a style that we haven't gone against yet. Right. You know, whether it's zone or man or a really skilled team or a super athletic team or a pressing team. I think we've seen all of the above up to this point this year, and so that's a good part, and that's something that we try to do with our non-conference scheduling the best that we can.
Is there any struggle? I mean, you do such a great job of keeping it game to game, but with the holiday being here and then San Diego State coming up on Saturday, how have the kids' focus been in getting ready for UNLV?
We had a pretty average practice yesterday, and we had a very good practice today. So that's always something that you are guarded against, and I've said many times, coaches are paid to be paranoid, and but you got to always be on the lookout for that stuff. Like where is the guys' mindset at? Where are we? You know, they're also on holiday break. You know, for 3 straight weeks now. You know, going on about 3 weeks. So you just deal with that all the time. What are they doing in their free time? Are they just sitting at home in their bed? Are they being active? Are they eating nonstop? Are they not eating? You know, just all of that stuff, and it all comes into play. And that's the one positive I thought of our last week going into Christmas is even though we were gone 6 days, we were around them without hounding them, but we controlled their eating. We controlled, you know, a little bit more of that kind of stuff. So there's not as many maybe outside influences. So that's always something that you you have your antennas up to see where guys are at mentally.
You go to a place that's kind of crazy for New Year's Eve, you know. One of the worst places to be.
Yeah, so when that schedule came out, I'm like, oh, perfect, right? New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. And I don't know how many times people have said, oh, so are you going to do anything special with the guys? Well, no, not really. Like, we try to approach it like any other game, you know. And
yeah, you can't.
You can't just all of a sudden change the whole script. And, you know, you have to be flexible and adaptable. When things don't go your way with travel, maybe a plane delay or a bus gets a flat tire or, you know, whatever it might be. But we try to keep it as kind of the same routine, and I think that helps guys when you're on the road like that.
When the Miefs care to play tomorrow?
Game time decision.
Sounds good.
What about, and it looks like you mentioned kind of some of the veterans, but it looks like they've kind of played with their roster a little bit. I know they've had a guy, at least one guy I've had has a broken thumb.
Yep.
Long, but he hasn't played for a few games, but they've used some different guys.
Yeah, they played 14 games now, and we've all been there before. As head coaches, you have an idea how you want to play. And you recruit some new guys, but when you get hired in March or April, that's not a lot of recruiting time to go get maybe exactly what you're looking for, and there's just a lot that goes into that. And so there's a style you want to play, but sometimes you don't have the personnel to play that way, and they're just trying to figure some things out, from that respect. So they've had much like between injuries and some new guy, you're just figuring out gradually what is successful and what makes guys thrive. And they, even 2 games ago now, they're starting to play other new guys, right? Marvin Coleman's playing. He's played over 30 minutes the last 2 games, and he wasn't close to that before that. And some of that's because of the injury to number 55, right? Jonah Antonio just got back in the lineup because he had an injury. Tillman's been playing very well. Tillman, number 2, was the Pac-12, I believe, 6th man of the year, or something like that, when he was at Utah, and he got a waiver going back home, and that's a guy that gets to the foul line a lot. He shot 19 free throws at Fresno State this year. So they're playing some different guys. Blair's getting a lot more playing time now, and then they threw 2 other. Jay Green went from not playing at all to playing over 30 minutes, I believe, 2 games ago against Robert Morris. So there's yin and yang, and there's some guys that are being thrown in there, and they're playing a little bit different now than they did even 3 or 4 games ago. So we're prepared for all of that, and which way they play, we don't know, but we'll be ready for any of it.